When The Conjuring was first released in 2013, audiences didn't just walk into another Hollywood horror flick. They stepped into a world based on a true story. A film rooted in the infamous case files of Ed and Lorraine Warren, the husband and wife paranormal investigators who claim to have battled some of the most terrifying hauntings in modern history. With its chilling atmosphere, old-school scares, and grounded storytelling, The Conjuring launched a billion-dollar cinematic universe. But with success came whispers of a curse. Hollywood history is littered with stories of cursed sets. From The Exorcist to Poltergeist, fans have long believed that films dabbling too close to the dark side carry consequences for those who bring them to life. And as strange accidents, eerie experiences, and unsettling tragedies began to surround the cast and crew of the Conjuring films, many began to wonder, had the Warrens' demons followed the actors into real life? This is the chilling story of the so-called Conjuring curse, and what happened to the real-life actors who dared to bring the supernatural to the big screen. Before we get to the actors, we need to understand the foundation of the Conjuring universe itself. The franchise is built on the supposedly true case files of Ed and Lorraine Warren, real-life paranormal investigators active from the 1950s through the 1990s. They were involved in infamous cases like the Amityville Horror, the Perron family haunting, and the Enfield poltergeist. Whether you believe in their work or dismiss it as sensationalism, one fact is undeniable. The Warrens built a legacy around stories of demonic entities, possessions, and cursed objects. That legacy was the bedrock of The Conjuring. And from the very beginning of filming, strange things began happening. Cast members reported feeling uneasy on set. Director James Wan admitted that while shooting late at night, crew members would feel sudden cold drafts sweep across the room with no explanation. Lights flickered, props moved, and according to some reports, even Lorraine Warren herself warned that they were stirring things up by dramatizing the events. And then came the accidents. Vera Farmiga, haunted in real life. Vera Farmiga, the actress who portrayed Lorraine Warren, became one of the first to openly speak about terrifying experiences connected to the film. Farmiga admitted that while working on The Conjuring, she refused to keep scripts in her house. She claimed that each time she brought the script home, strange scratches appeared on her laptop screen, deep claw-like marks that had no explanation. Farmiga also described waking up at exactly 3:07 a.m., the so-called witching hour referenced in the movie, night after night while filming. To her, it didn't feel like coincidence. Farmiga said she genuinely believed that by stepping into Lorraine Warren's shoes, she had opened herself to whatever darkness the real Warrens confronted. In interviews, she described feeling watched when alone and admitted that she prayed frequently during production. Patrick Wilson, the weight of playing Ed Warren. Patrick Wilson, who played Ed Warren, never reported direct hauntings like his co-star, but he spoke about the emotional weight of embodying a man who spent his life chasing demons. Wilson is a devout Christian, and he admitted he prayed before certain scenes, especially those involving exorcisms. Though he didn't experience scratches or apparitions, he said the atmosphere on set often felt charged, as though they weren't just acting but tapping into something real. Wilson also confessed that many times, the set had to be blessed by priests before shooting could continue. Cast and crew members reported that the air would feel lighter after prayers, almost as if some unseen heaviness had been lifted. The Perron family connection. But perhaps the most chilling evidence of a curse came not from the actors, but from the real family whose haunting inspired the first Conjuring film. The Perron family, who lived in the Rhode Island farmhouse in the 1970s, visited the set during filming. Carolyn Perron, the mother, refused to step foot inside the recreated house. She said she could feel the same oppressive energy from decades earlier. Even more unsettling, during a set visit, one of the Perron daughters claimed that a strange gust of wind nearly knocked her off her feet. At that exact moment, crew members working several miles away reported a freak accident. A lighting rig suddenly collapsed without reason. For many, this was no coincidence. It was a sign that the spirits tied to the story weren't happy about their lives being turned into entertainment. Joey King, a child star's paranormal encounter. One of the most terrifying experiences came from actress Joey King, who played one of the Perron children. King revealed that during production, she developed unexplained bruises all over her body. Doctors couldn't explain it. What's even stranger is that her character in the film experiences the exact same phenomenon, mysterious bruises as a sign of demonic oppression. King insisted that nothing in her daily routine could explain the injuries. She wasn't doing her own stunts, she wasn't roughhousing, yet every day she'd discover new marks. To her, it felt like something from the other side had crossed into reality. Tragedy strikes the extended cast. As the Conjuring universe expanded, with spin-offs like Annabelle, The Nun, and The Curse of La Llorona, so too did the strange stories. In 2017, during the filming of The Nun in Romania, cast and crew reported bizarre occurrences. Lights would flicker uncontrollably, even in newly installed wiring. A priest was called to bless the set after multiple members of the crew claimed to see shadowy figures moving in the corners of their vision. Actress Teresa Farmiga, Vera's younger sister, who played the lead role in The Nun, admitted she felt a constant presence while filming. Even stranger, the hotel where cast and crew stayed was said to be haunted. Farmiga described waking up in the night to hear loud knocks on her door, but when she opened it, no one was there. After a week of this, she stopped answering altogether. And then there were the accidents. In 2019, actor Paul Wilson, brother of Patrick Wilson, suffered a serious on-set injury while working on another horror production tied to the Conjuring universe. Fans speculated that the curse wasn't limited to one set, but followed those connected to the franchise. Lorraine Warren's passing. Adding fuel to the curse narrative was the death of Lorraine Warren in 2019, shortly before The Conjuring 3 entered production. Though she was 92 years old, her passing seemed symbolic, as though the real Lorraine had left this world just as her on-screen counterpart was about to tackle another supernatural battle. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga both admitted that Lorraine's spirit felt present during filming, and Farmiga even said she prayed to Lorraine before major scenes. Many fans speculated whether Lorraine's death unleashed new energy around the films. The crew experiences. It wasn't just actors who reported strange things. Crew members spoke of equipment malfunctioning at critical moments, particularly when scenes depicting exorcisms were filmed. One camera operator said his rig shut down 3 times during a pivotal exorcism scene, despite technicians confirming nothing was wrong with the equipment. Sound engineers complained of picking up faint whispers on recordings, voices that didn't belong to anyone on set. And then there was the hotel fire. During the filming of The Conjuring 2 in London, the crew's hotel was evacuated after a sudden blaze broke out. No one was injured, but many noted the eerie timing. It happened the same night the cast had filmed one of the film's darkest exorcism sequences. Fan reactions, feeding the curse. The so-called Conjuring curse has taken on a life of its own in fan communities. Paranormal enthusiasts argue that the films act as a conduit, drawing energy from the stories they depict. Skeptics, of course, claim it's all coincidence, or a clever marketing strategy by studios eager to keep the franchise steeped in mystique. But whether real or not, the stories have undeniably fueled the legend. Fans often point out that horror movies with a reputation for curses, The Exorcist, Poltergeist, The Omen, endure in pop culture precisely because of the off-screen scares. And the Conjuring films, with their billion-dollar success, are no exception. Where the actors stand today. So what happened to the actors who lived through these experiences? Vera Farmiga remains open about her faith and spirituality. She admits she still feels a connection to Lorraine Warren. In an interview, she has hinted that she prays before taking on horror roles. Patrick Wilson continues to work steadily, and while he doesn't talk much about hauntings, he maintains deep respect for the subject matter. Joey King has gone on to a thriving career, but she occasionally references her eerie bruises as one of the strangest things that ever happened to her on set. And Teresa Farmiga? She has distanced herself from the Nun sequel, fueling speculation that the experiences in Romania left a mark. The question that remains: so is there really a Conjuring curse? Or are these just the coincidences of long film shoots, psychological suggestion, and the human need to find patterns in chaos? The truth may never be known. But one thing is certain. The actors who stepped into the shoes of Ed and Lorraine Warren didn't just act in a horror film. They lived through one. And for those who believe in curses, The Conjuring stands as Hollywood's latest and most chilling example that sometimes the scariest part of a horror movie isn't on screen. It's what happens when the cameras stop rolling. Because when you make a movie about demons, possessions, and curses, you might just invite them into your own life.